What's up, guys? Welcome to the poker vlog. Today I play a variety of stakes up to 5, 10, 20 no limit at 2 casinos in Los Angeles, the Hustler and the Bicycle Casino. This session was played in May before I left for the WSOP. Before we get into the poker, let's do a restaurant review of a place that has been #1 on my list of places to visit in LA for quite some time, APL Barbecue.
Run by Chef Adam Perry Lang, this pop-up is currently located at Grunion Sports Bar in Manhattan Beach. If you're unfamiliar with this chef, he has some serious chops. The pop-up opens at noon, but people begin getting in line as early as 9 a.m. in order to get their hands on the very limited specials of the day. These have been a rotating smorgasbord of smoked items. I was lucky enough to get there in time for the very last pecan smoked bone marrow brulee with ramps, served with a side of fresh chimichurri. Delicious. One of the most enjoyable things about this experience was getting an up-close and personal look at a celebrity chef who operates this pop-up as a father-daughter duo. APL was happy to chat with the customers and seems to be going back to the basics of what he loves. All the items at this pop-up are enormous in size, so I'd recommend going with at least a group of 4 people minimum to attack these massive portions. First, we tried the pecan and oak smoked sweet and sticky pork ribs. These ribs were cooked to perfection, emanating a smoky flavor. The barbecue sauce was a fitting complement to the meat while not overpowering the flavor of a flawlessly cooked pork rib. Next, we had the hickory smoked crispy pork belly, also served with barbecue sauce, delivering a nice level of sweetness and acidity to the fatty pork belly, which had the perfect blend of crispy skin and moist, succulent meat. Excellent. Last, the star of the show, Chef's signature pecan wood colossal beef short rib, which in addition to the typical accoutrements, was served with a side of mustard slaw. All barbecue items are dressed with hot cherry peppers, pickle salad, and Texas bread. A gigantic Flintstone-style beef rib, extremely fatty and rich, served sans barbecue sauce, highlighting the robust flavors of this enormous piece of meat. This might be the single best barbecue item I've ever tried in my entire life. Overall, APL is among the best barbecue I've had the pleasure of eating anywhere in the USA. Give the chef a follow on Instagram at Adam Perry Lang so you can get your hands on this master's grub at his pop-ups throughout the Los Angeles area. We're starting this day off with a little 5-5 hand here at Hustler. We have our absolute favorite hand in the hijack and open to 20. Button calls. And top of your screen, you can see the small blind reaching for chips. He's gonna 3-bet to 120. This player and I know each other a fair amount. We've probably played about 25 hours together or so. I'd call our relationship adversarial at best. We don't really get along. That said, I don't think that's really playing into things here. I've seen him crazy tight, crazy loose. He's really one of those guys who's just all over the place day to day. In this spot with this hand, I think calling would be okay sometimes. But this time I go for the 4-ball. It's 3:30 to go off of a total effective stack of $1,000. Button gets out of the way quickly, and now it's back on our, well, he's not our friend. Little Hollywood action and an all-in from him, and we snap it off, and that is gross. He's never supposed to have aces when we have ace-king, but he does, of course. And now we're gonna need a really lucky run out, a flush or a straight, or some kind of chop situation. We're basically dead here. Flops 9 high, that's no help. A queen on the turn, and we break off on the river. And we're gonna send a guy who we don't like very much nearly $2,100 pot on this first hand of the day. I'm just a touch late to film, but we've got 10-9 of spades on the button and have opened to $30. Big blind has 3-bet us to 130. He's a professional I'm pretty familiar with, and the action folds back to us. Raising seems no good, folding's ridiculous. So I flick in the call, let's get this guy. Flops 10-5-3 rainbow, that gives us top pair, mediocre kicker. Big blind starts with a check, and I think this hand is certainly worthy of a bet once checked to. I just have to decide what size I want to go with. I eventually settle on 90, and the big blind hasn't let go of his hand just yet. He looks interested. He does slide in a call, This line represents a lot of hands like 2 overs and a backdoor flush draw, hands like ace king, ace queen, ace jack. Maybe sometimes he's got some pocket pairs in there as well. And the turn is a jack of diamonds. Big blind checks again. I think this card is very good for his range, less good for ours. Thus, I decide to check it back. Jack of spades on the river pairing the board. Interesting run out here. Big blind checks for a third time, and now we've got an interesting decision. I certainly would sometimes have bluffs that would stab flop, check back turn, and maybe want to bluff river. And then I have to decide, is a 10 good enough to bet for value? Certainly a hand like ace 10 or king 10 would be. I think 10-9 might be as well. It's very, very close. I eventually bet 260, and the big blind could hero call us with a variety of combos. But shockingly, he goes for a check raise, and the size is wild. Just $700. It's almost like a click here. Given that we have history together, I don't know if he would ever bluff this size. That said, it doesn't really look like I ever have a jack after I check back on the turn. On the river, I started out with 1365, and all I can think is, I want to go all in on this guy. If he doesn't have ace jack, he simply cannot call me. That said, I'm kind of a price fish, and the price is so damn good if he's ever bluffing, ever. After a long, long tank, I begrudgingly put in the call and get shown the bad news. Pocket aces. Kind of makes me wonder if that bluff shove at this relatively short depth would have worked. Instead, I'm a fish, and I just pay this man off. We've slid over 1 seat to our left and pick up pocket eights in the cutoff. I start with the standard open of 35. Pick up a call from the button. Same villain from last hand who fucked us up when he had pocket aces. Everybody else folds, and we're going to go heads up to a flop of 10-9, 7-2 spades, 1 club. On this board, I would always start with a check. That's what I do. The button goes with 35 into 90. We've got the open ender, we got a spade in hand, and a pair. Let's see a turn. Which comes in 8 of hearts. We have a set now. We check to him. Odd board. I think he would probably be checking here quite a bit or using really, really small bets. But instead he opts for a size of 100 into 160. I don't get this at all. It makes no sense to me. I don't really feel like this is a thing. I don't know if he's frying me or bluffing me, but in any event, with a set, it's not good enough to raise. We put the call out, looking to improve on this river, pair it up, and it doesn't. It's a 6, and now a straight is on board. We check one more time to the button, he bets 200. Well, this is a little bit annoying. It's 200 to call to effectively win $180. We can never win more than that in this spot. Bluffing seems ridiculous. He's got plenty of jack X in range and queen jack. Thus, I decide to let this one go, and this guy gets the better of us here once again. All right, guys, we are doing a classic LiveKingPoker LA casino switch from Hustler over to the bike. Only about 18 minutes or so in the evening after traffic breaks. 5-10-20 is running. We're stuck pretty good from the Hustler so far. I'll get into those results at the end. Let's try to turn it around here at the bike. We're now playing 5-10-20 no limit at the bike. We're in the must move game. We're 0 for 3 so far today, looking to turn things around. The button opens to 60. And we've got ace 5 of diamonds in the big blind. All the young kids love this hand, as do I.
275.
We're gonna pop it to 275. The button is kind of a weird player. He sort of plays poker like it's a table game. Whether he's winning or losing, he's always kind of pressing his bets. He's gonna call, and we're gonna get a flop. It's king 9-3, 2 clubs, 1 diamond. We have an overcard, a backdoor straight draw, and a backdoor flush draw. In this instance, I go for a check, and he checks it back super quickly. Turn is a 5, that gives us a pair. I check, and he's gonna check again super fast. River's a 6. I don't think we have much here, so I check. We've simply got a bluff catcher. And take a look, top right corner of your screen, he's reaching for a bet of 175. Well, here we go again. In hand number 2, when I got check raised small, I said it doesn't really feel like the guy's bluffing, because people don't typically like to bluff these sizes, because in my shoes, it's hard for me to want to fold. I'm a price fish. I've got a pair of 5s, and we've checked this hand all the way down to the river. I kind of roll my eyes a little bit. and put in the call.
Any pair?
Yeah, I have jack high.
Okay. No, I'll just show.
And a pair of fives is going to be good enough. He verbalizes jack high, and I'm finally on board with a win today. The button's open to $60. And we've got my second favorite starting hand, pocket jacks in the big blind. We 3-bet to 275, and the button is the guy who's the same villain from the last hand. Suddenly, it's kind of starting to feel like Groundhog Day. Well, not so fast. He's put in the 4-bet to 700 this time. I'm not sure if he would have bluffs here. I certainly think he could, and that means we've got two options. Option 1, calling seems okay. Option 2, we could 5-bet. The hand starts out about $4,000 effective. In this spot, my continuing range would often play calls only. So that's what I go ahead and do. A monster pot brewing here. Let's get ourselves a good flop. It's King 9-2 Rainbow, and we check as we would with our entire range. This is a really good board for the 4-better, and predictably he bets $500. Well, I think that's a little bit bigger than I would go myself, but I don't think it really represents much of anything, and certainly betting King 9-2 Rainbow is a good bet by the button. This hand is simply too good to give up for one bet. I'm going to put the call in and hope for a good turn, or maybe our opponent slows down a little bit. It's a queen of clubs. We've picked up a gut shot now. We check. And the button wastes no time. He's all in for $2,700 effective. And this terrible day continues to get worse. I can't really see continuing here. We're going to let this one go.
That's fine.
We've got a premium here. Ace King of Hearts in the low jack. Under the gun limps for 20. Middle position pro ISOs to 80. And with our absolute favorite hand, we always want to make the pot bigger. We 3-ball to 270. Everybody folds back to the middle position pro. And he's going to call. He and I have tangled quite a bit. We both play at the bike regularly. Flops King 9-3, 2 clubs, 1 heart. This is a really good flop for the pre-flop 3-better. He checks, and when I get flops like this, I'm usually going to start with a small bet. I opt for 200. The middle position player hems and haws a little bit and wants to see a turn, which drops an ace of diamonds. That's top 2 for us, an incredible card for our range as well. He's going to check again, and here all I want to do is think about how to get all the remaining money in on the next 2 streets. I've got 2110 behind, so my sizing consideration is with that in mind here.
520.
520 is the bet.
I eventually settle on 520, and now it's on the middle position pro. He's got to make a decision. He can definitely have hands like ace high clubs or good kings, maybe some floats from the flop like ace queen or ace jack. He's going to call yet again. And we've got an absolutely gigantic pot brewing here. 2,045 in the middle, and a 9 of hearts river pairs the board. Middle position checks. We've got 1590 back. It's really hard for him to have a 9 in sequence, and we're really only going to have one play.
On.
It's Rip City all in, 1590. Now back on him. He could contemplate calling hands like ace queen, ace jack. Maybe he even has a hand like, I don't know, ace 5 or ace 4 of clubs. He's tanking so long here that it's hard for me to think he has anything but an ace. He's taking so long, I got the Final Jeopardy countdown going on in my head. Do 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 do. All right, I'm not good at that, but you feel it.
I got to be you, guys. All people, I got to be you.
And eventually he finds the fold, and we win our first decent pot of the day. Under the gun opens to 60. He's an Aussie pro who's been eating my lunch recently. He plays very, very well, and I think he's also been holding over me a little bit. It's going to fold around to us, and we've got a standard defend here with queen jack offsuit. Flops queen 3-3, 2 hearts, 1 diamond. That gives us top pair. We're going to check and flow. And we face a bet of $40. I like this size by the under the gun player. I feel like this isn't quite strong enough to raise. I'm going to put in the call. And the turn's a jack of hearts. It's pretty spicy. We've got queens and jacks now. We check. And the Aussie checks it back. Black deuce on the river. That's as big of a blank as we can get. After playing the hand this way, I certainly would have some bluffs. Also, in this instance, we have value. So I need to pick a size that can have both types of hands in range. I settle on 165.
Top two.
And it's a quick call. His aces and threes.
The real top two.
Are going to defeat our queens and jacks. All right, guys, we got to do a little freeze frame here because yours truly has made a massive recording error. I wasn't able to catch the pre-flop action, but we've got queen nine of spades in the small blind in a 5-10-20 configuration. I raised it up to 70, the big blind folded, and the straddle called. We get an incredible flop for our range. Ace jack 4, 2 spades. We can use big bets, over bets, all kinds of stuff here. I go for 125. Straddle's relatively unknown. He's a recreational. He's going to put in the call. Turn is a 3 of clubs. That brings a second flush draw. 5 deuce is possible for him, but seems unlikely. And I think we've got a really good bluffing candidate here. So I put out a bet, $400. That's full pot. Straddle takes little time. He puts in the call. River's a king of diamonds, and I'm liking this spot quite a bit. I don't really know much about this guy or how frequently he'll fold. We've got about 2,100 back, and I think this is a really good bluffing spot. We block queen 10. We can have ace, king, aces, and kings, pocket jacks, hands like that. He is really, really unlikely to ever have any of those hands. I don't love bluffing Rex I don't know a ton about, but it's part of the game, and when you get a spot this good, you gotta do it. That's a bet of 1,100. In hindsight, I don't know that I love this. I think just going all in for 2,100 is best, but mistakes happen. Here we are. He's in the tank, and certainly hands like ace 4 and ace 3 would make a lot of sense to call with. He does put in the call. We've been caught. And he turns over an interesting combo. Ace 5 offsuit. All right, he got me, and this day has been a total disaster.
Well, just as predicted, it has happened. The streak has ended of vlogs where I just win. You know, it's almost like I could feel it coming. It was karmic. Things have just been going my way nonstop. I think a day like today was just inevitable. This is poker, and poker is one of the most wildly humbling games. I mean, you can be a crusher, you could be a fish on a heater or a whale. You could really be anything, and so many of us, including myself, probably don't really know what we are or where we sit sort of in the hierarchy at times. That's a whole nother convoluted and tricky conversation in and of itself. Poker has a way of deceiving you, giving you false hope. And I think that's really what's humbling about this game. It just keeps you grounded. And when it's going well, it just knocks you right back down. And sometimes it's not to be like all whatever-y, you know, whatever the fucking word is. I don't know, you know, but poker really is. It's fucking crazy with all these bands. I got airplanes up here. I got a van going by with the loudest music ever. Motherfucker. I just got my face bashed in. What a day. What a day. On a positive note, we've got the main event giveaway, so don't forget about that. Make sure to get in there. Participate in that main event giveaway. 3 5% pieces coming your guys' way soon. So I think that is something we can look forward to and be hopeful for. Try to be hopeful that we make a deep run in the main and pay you guys a little bit of money as well as pay myself some money. If you see me at WSOP, come say hi. I might even have some Live King merch on me to give out to you. So if you see me with a backpack, I might have some stuff in there. If you're interested, come say hi, grab a little bit of merch. Results. Hustler. We were down 1876 over at Hustler. We were down 2950 here at the bike. That's a loss of 48.26. So we lost nearly a nickel That's the big nickel in my world. Don't forget, before you close out this video, to like and subscribe. And thank you, as always, so much for watching. Live King out.